Spring, 71 BC, southern Italy. You are walking along the Appian Way, the most famous road in history. The scenery is beautiful, the sky is clear, but suddenly, the serenity is shattered. Lining the road, stretching as far as the eye can see, wooden crosses appear. Not one, not 10, not 100, exactly 6,000 crosses. On every single one, a dying man. This was not a simple execution. This was a message delivered to the entire world. This was not the rise of a civilization or the birth of high culture. This was the birth of the most perfect, ruthless, and bloody military machine in human history. The Romans didn't just win. They wiped the very existence of their enemies off the face of the earth. For the next 1,000 years, the world would live in the shadow of these iron eagles. But how did a tiny village built on mud transform into an unstoppable terror that swallowed entire continents? Welcome to Dark Empire. Most people picture Rome as a place of beautiful marble architecture, wise senators, and thrilling gladiator games. But the reality was vastly different. The true face of Rome was the legion. The Roman army was not just a group of men. It was a living, breathing meat grinder. While their enemies fought with passion, chaos, and rage, the Romans killed with mathematics and design. Their short sword, the gladius, wasn't just a weapon. It was an engineering tool, specifically designed by military minds to puncture flesh and shatter bone with minimal effort. On the battlefield, there was no emotion. There was no fear. There was only the order, the shield, and death. But the real secret to their invincibility wasn't their weapons. It was their discipline. If a Roman legion showed cowardice in battle, Rome had a terrifying punishment waiting for them. It was called decimation. The disgraced unit was divided into groups of 10. They would draw lots. The one man who drew the shortest straw was to be executed, but not by the executioner. He was beaten to death by the other 9 men in his group, his own brothers in arms. This was not mindless savagery. This was a calculated system, designed to teach the Roman soldier a dark truth. You must fear your own commander, far more than you fear the enemy. Because of this, they never retreated. They only moved forward. Rome didn't just win by fighting. Rome won by injecting absolute terror into the soul of its enemies. The year is 146 BC. The capital of the Mediterranean and Rome's greatest rival is Carthage. After a brutal 3-year siege, the Romans finally breached the city walls. What did they do? Did they just kill the soldiers? No. For 6 continuous days, the Romans went block by block, house by house. They methodically slaughtered half of the city's 500,000 inhabitants. The remaining 50,000 were dragged away into slavery. But do you know the darkest part? They completely leveled this 700-year-old city to the ground. Legend says they even salted the earth so that no crop would ever grow there again. It was a clear, horrifying warning to the rest of the world. Stand against Rome, and you will not just be defeated, you will be erased from history. This is why rival empires trembled, because the Romans never got tired. They never gave up. If you destroyed one Roman army, they would send another one next year. If you destroyed 2, they would send a third. They possessed a terrifying mastery of logistics. The famous stone roads they built weren't just for merchants and trade. They were military highways designed to move heavily armed killers to any corner of the continent at terrifying speeds. The old saying, "All roads lead to Rome," was not a romantic poem. It was a military threat. Eventually, Rome conquered all of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. They proudly named their era of absolute control the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. But what kind of peace was it? A famous Celtic chieftain from ancient Britain once described the Roman Empire with these chilling words: "To robbery, slaughter, and plunder, they give the lying name of empire. They create a desert, and they call it peace. Rome created laws, roads, and culture, but they watered that culture with the blood of millions. They didn't just change the people of their time, they altered the entire course of human history. The military genius, the dark diplomacy, and the lingering fear of Rome still run deep in the roots of modern nations today. It took centuries for Rome to finally fall, but the terror it engineered and the dark legacy it left behind has never truly vanished. Because Rome was not just a state, it was the ultimate intersection of human savagery and human perfection. If you are fascinated by the darker pages of history, make sure to subscribe to Dark Empire and hit the bell icon. A horde from the east, a terror so great it made even Rome tremble. Next time, we meet Attila the Hun,